Hey there, let's talk about a very specific kind of comfort. The kind you can only really find tucked away between the pages of a book, especially on those days when everything just hurts.
And isn't that just the truth? Some days the headlines are screaming, the to-do list is a monster, and just existing feels, well, it feels sharp, like it has too many edges.
You know, it's probably not some high-stakes thriller that's going to crank up your anxiety. And it's probably not a super complex historical saga that demands all of your brain power. No. On those days, we need something softer.
What we're really looking for is something you could call a book-shaped blanket. And it's not really about escaping reality, not exactly. It's more about finding a place of solace, a story that doesn't just distract you, but actually feels like it gets it.
This is the idea we're diving into today, the literary hug. It's that incredible feeling when a book just seems to understand what you're going through. It offers this quiet companionship and asks for absolutely nothing in return.
And this, right here, is so important. These books aren't just relentlessly cheerful. A lot of them are actually filled with grief, or struggle, or hardship. Their magic isn't about pretending the darkness doesn't exist. It's about being a steady, quiet presence right there with you in the middle of it.
Okay, so let's start with our first category of these literary hugs. And this one is all about one of the most powerful kinds of comfort there is, the found family. You know, stories about the people we choose and the people who choose us right back.
First up, we have this absolute treasure. It's about this very buttoned-up, by-the-rules caseworker who gets sent to check on a super remote orphanage. The catch? It's for magical and supposedly very dangerous kids. We're talking about the Antichrist, but, you know, adorable.
This quote just nails the whole heart of the book. In a world that can feel so cynical, so hard, this story makes the case that simple kindness and acceptance are actually these huge, world-changing acts. It's all about creating a safe space for people to just be themselves. It's pure warmth. Now, let's switch gears to a totally different kind of character. Meet Ove. He is a world-class curmudgeon. He's the grumpiest guy on the block, he's mourning his wife, and he is just dead set on being left alone. But of course, his new neighbors and a very persistent stray cat, well, they have other ideas.
And that right there is the whole beautiful message of this book. It's this fantastic reminder that human connection is stubborn, you know? It shows how even the most locked down, grumpy heart can be gently nudged open by a little bit of community.
And our last one in this section is about Mika Moon. She's a witch who's lived her entire life in isolation because she was always taught to hide her magic. But then, completely out of the blue, she gets this strange job offer to tutor 3 young, very chaotic witches. I mean, seriously, can't you just feel that? This description is absolutely perfect. The whole book is about finding your people, it has this gentle, lovely romance, and it captures that deep, quiet relief of finally belonging somewhere. It is an unbelievably cozy read. All right, for our next section, we're going to pivot a little, because it's really important to remember that comfort isn't just one thing. It's not always cozy. Sometimes the deepest comfort comes from seeing someone else walk through the darkness and find even a tiny flicker of light. These books are about navigating grief, regret, and some really tough stuff. So this story starts in a very, very dark place. A woman named Nora Seed is just completely overwhelmed by her regrets. And she finds herself in this strange library that exists somewhere between life and death. Every single book on the shelves is a chance for her to try on another life she could have lived. And that's where you find the comfort in this book. It handles the topic of depression with so much empathy. It's a really tender look at our choices, at forgiveness, and at that slow realization that a perfect life isn't the goal. A worthwhile life is. Okay, yes, this is a Pulitzer Prize winner set during World War II. It is absolutely heavy. But woven through all that devastation are these incredibly delicate threads that connect a blind French girl and a young German soldier. They're both just clinging to things like science, music, and bits of beauty. And that's exactly why it's a comfort read. The story finds its hope not in these big, heroic gestures, but in the smallest, most fragile acts of humanity, like sharing a piece of bread or broadcasting a science lesson over the radio. It really insists that our better natures can and do endure.
So this next one is a memoir, and I'll be honest, it is heartbreaking. Paul Kalanithi was this brilliant neurosurgeon right at the top of his game when he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. This book is his reflection on life, on meaning, and on mortality as he has to face his own death head-on.
The comfort you get from this book is, well, it's profound. It's hard-won, it doesn't flinch away from the pain for a second, but by looking at it so honestly, it transforms it. It leaves you with this incredible feeling that to live with purpose, to really ask what makes life meaningful, that in itself is a victory.
So what does this all mean? What do we do with this? Well, these books and so many others just like them, they're basically an invitation. They're offering a place for you to just rest for a little while when you can't seem to find one anywhere else.
And honestly, the list just keeps going. You've got sci-fi stories about just trying to be decent to each other out in space. You have portal fantasies about love that lasts, nostalgic trips to the magic of a childhood summer, and even tiny little books of essays for when you just need one single page of solace.
And that really brings the question back to you, doesn't it? What's that book you turn to? The one that feels like an old friend? The story that just knows how to quiet all the noise in your head for a little while? It's such a powerful thing to have in your back pocket.
So if there's one big thing to take away from all this, it's this. The real value of these books isn't that they fix anything. They don't. It's in their quiet, steadfast companionship. They don't offer easy answers. They just offer presence. They offer to sit with you for a while.
And really, in the end, that's the greatest comfort of all, isn't it? They see the darkness, they acknowledge it, and then they just sit with you, page by page, until you feel like you can breathe again.